Hey folks, The Legend of Zelda's Hyrule is a kingdom filled with mysteries. What looks ordinary at face value may contain a deep labyrinth of questions behind it. Odd things can be found whilst exploring all the nooks and crannies of the world, and this is no more apparent than in the last installment and version of Hyrule seen in Tears of the Kingdom, the biggest Zelda game to date. And in today's video, we're going to take a look at one of the biggest unsolved world mysteries. A location extremely significant to the history of Hyrule. A place integral to running the kingdom, and somewhere you might think you're familiar with, but don't know about its lost piece of history. Today, we are looking at the mystery of Hyrule's original castle. Get ready folks, and as always, be sure to go and grab yourself a snack and drink. Subscribe if you aren't already, it really helps the channel out. And let's look at this unsolved mystery. Hyrule Castle is an iconic location in the Zelda series, seen countless times across various timelines and in many styles, from the all-time classic in Ocarina of Time, to the depths of the Great Sea Castle seen in The Wind Waker, to my personal favourite, the gothic and gritty Twilight-consumed Hyrule Castle in Twilight Princess. But it's the latest two installments, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, that gave us the biggest and most explorable version of the castle we've ever seen, both in ruin and destroyed from the Great Calamity, but fascinating nonetheless. This is Hyrule Castle as we've always known it, a grand spectacle where the royal family live. However, in this latest installment to the series, Tears of the Kingdom expanded the lore behind the castle massively. Not only do we learn that it was originally built to close over the seal King Rauru put on Ganondorf in order to hide this great secret, but also that there was a completely different Hyrule Castle prior to this one, the original Zonai Hyrule Castle. It's a unique looking castle that we've never seen before in person, and don't actually get many clear shots of it, but it is seen across a few different memories from Princess Zelda's time in the past. It was located on the Great Plateau beside the original Temple of Time, which we can later find on the Great Sky Island. We also see a geoglyph of the original castle design out by the Hebra region, showing us its unique pyramid fortress-like shape, very different to the more stereotypical fantasy adventure style castle that Hyrule Castle takes on. This is where King Rauru and Queen Sonia lived, and ruled the kingdom from, as well as Minoru in her study. We can see from Zelda's memories of the past that the castle we know wasn't built yet. This Zonai castle was the original Hyrule Castle. So where is it now? The upheaval of Hyrule revealed tons of sky islands and creations of the Zonai from the ancient past, with landmarks such as the original Temple of Time, originally seen on the Great Plateau as previously mentioned, now being found on the Great Sky Island, the hub of the Sky Islands. But the original castle, which was previously found right beside the temple, is gone entirely. No marked ruins, no clear signs of what once was the castle. It's just gone. This is rather odd given how significant a location it was, and that another significant location directly beside it returned fully intact. So where did Hyrule's original castle go? Looking at this question in terms of where it should be or where it was/is potentially within the Sky Islands is what I'm talking about. Structures and significant landmarks from the ancient past have reappeared in the present across these mysterious islands, such as the Dragonhead Isles, a big part of the Construct Factory operation, Dive Ceremony Islands, and even ancient dungeons have appeared across the map. The Temple of Time itself has appeared in the sky, but its next door neighbour, the original Hyrule Castle, is gone. However, it might be up here in some way. You see, there are a lot of remains and ruins found not just on the Great Sky Island, but the Sky Islands in general, from scattered bricks to full-on buildings. If we look directly above the Great Sky Island, we can find this tall island high above. It's part of the Great Sky Island location, but sits high above. It's also where Link first wakes up after the opening when Ganondorf is discovered and awakens. You know, when went down. Could this hold any significance to the castle? I think it might. You see, the inside of this large island containing the Room of Awakening is an entire Zonai structure on the inside. This was built within the rock for some reason. Now, it was said by one of the constructs on the Great Sky Island that it was said the hero would one day awaken at this site. Perhaps the site was referring to the hub location of the Zonai, which back in ancient times would have been the original castle. Notice that Link didn't awaken at the Temple of Time or somewhere random on the Great Sky Island, rather the specific Room of Awakening within this structure. And who took him there? King Rauru. Could the Room of Awakening and this structure high above be part of the original Hyrule Castle? I believe so. I can't imagine that a location this significant from the past just vanished. Of course, a new castle was built over the site where Ganondorf was sealed, but I can't imagine this original one was just demolished because of that. It must have stood the test of time like the Temple of Time did. So what's the story here? What I'm thinking is that perhaps this core structure within this higher up island was once part of the original castle. Perhaps this core was deeper within the castle that once stood here on the Great Plateau, ready to serve its purpose in the future. The Zonai were highly intelligent, and perhaps they had prophesied that one day this structure would be necessary, and purposely built the castle to have this core structure remain intact if the day ever comes that the rest of the castle falls. I think that's exactly what might have happened here. It's speculative, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was true. I'd also argue that this is likely part of the original castle due to its location. This entire part of the Great Sky Island gravitated to the very top, standing tall above, much like a castle would. This does obviously beg the question of what happened to the rest of the castle, and to answer that, I can only presume that if my thinking is correct, that the rest of the castle just crumbled as the Sky Islands formed. I think that a lot of the scattered rubble and ruins we find on the lower Sky Islands may actually be parts of the original Hyrule Castle. It makes a lot of sense if you ask me. Why else would King Rauru know exactly where to bring Link? The castle surely exists to some degree in the present day, and I believe that this is what remains. These tunnels and diving points, the Room of Awakening, the Zonai mechanisms, the towering view over the Great Sky Island and Temple of Time. It just makes sense to me. To conclude, I really wish we knew more about the original Hyrule Castle. It's only ever seen in memories, and it's pretty brief at that. Background shots and a few inside cutscenes, but we don't have a great idea of how big it was inside and what sort of other rooms it contained. It looks stunning in the shots we do see, both inside and out, and I really wished we had some way of going back into the past to explore it and just ancient Hyrule in general. Perhaps the Zonai will return in future games, and we'll get to explore a Zonai Hyrule Castle at some point, but that's completely unknown at this moment in time. We might never truly know the answer to this mystery. I can accept that I might be flat out wrong, but I believe in this idea, and the possibility of not knowing if I'm right or wrong is part of the fun. I believe that the answer to the mystery of Hyrule's original castle is that all that remains is the core structure sitting high above the Great Sky Island, where King Rauru, the former king of Hyrule and inhabitant of the original Zonai Hyrule Castle, first brought Link at the beginning of this adventure. Thanks for tuning into this video and exploring the mystery of Hyrule's original Zonai Castle with me. Let me know what you think about this, as well as any other world mysteries you find interesting down below in the comments. As always, a very special thanks goes to my channel supporters for the amazing backing of the channel. It helps massively to make these videos possible, so a very big thanks goes to all of you. I offer a weekly inside scoop on upcoming videos and other projects I've got going on, so if you'd like to get that exclusive insight, then consider supporting. You'll also join these lovelies on screen right here and get a shout out from myself when you join. Check out the supporting links in the description if you're interested. You'll also find my Discord, Twitter and Instagram down there. Thanks again for watching. I appreciate it so much and hope you have an awesome day or night, folks. And until the next time, I've been Hyrule Gamer.